Hey, this is Bill Chris back in the Coach's Cave, and today I'd like to talk about something outside of X's and O's. I'd like to talk about the elephant in the room, so to speak, hazing, and your team culture, and specifically within culture, hazing. Uh, I, I think it's something we coaches need to talk more about, and we got to let the public know, and parents know, and other coaches know where we stand on it. And I think even though we might not all agree on what offense to run, what defense to run, how to run it, I think majority of coaches will all agree that there's no place for hazing in our program. Uh, but it's still going on. You know, in our area this year, there was serious allegations of hazing at a school, and action was taken. The coach was fired. So there it is. There's still islands where there's hazing going on that shouldn't be. So I think football, it happens in all sports. It happens with all genders, but I think football gets more scrutiny than other sports for whatever reason. So I think we need to be more vocal about it. You know, what is hazing? And I think that's one of the problems too, is defining hazing, you know. So here in the Coach's Cave, all right, you might have people that are going to say putting shaving cream in a set of cleats is hazing. And then you have other people who might say locking a freshman in a locker overnight is not hazing. Well, this one in the locker is always hazing. On the cleats, it may be hazing, it might not. You know, it all depends. And so the difference there is, are we putting shaving cream in the same kid's cleats every day? Or is it my buddy, my guard next to me that I'm always playing games with, I'm putting shaving, we're laughing, you know. That's where the line's divided, you know. So it could be or might not be. I grew up in a culture in the early 80s in high school, real strong program that also had a culture of hazing. We'd go off to a camp for a week in August for 3 days, and the coaches overnight would spend their time down in a cabin about a mile down the valley, and all of us players were up there in these little sheds with 8 bunks overnight all week. Let your imagination run wild with the upperclassmen. Now, luckily for me and us, you know, there was no lunatics on there. You know, there was hazing occurred, but at least it never got to a criminal level or real serious level, you know. And we earned our stripes though, and we were lucky because, you know, up in that scenario, it really, the wrong people were there, something bad could have happened. And even though I learned lessons from that probably made me a stronger person, I probably could have got the same lessons in a more positive manner over time, you know. So anyone that tells you that hazing is making kids tougher, I don't believe it does. I believe you can make kids tougher on the football field. You know, I went on to college, I was in the military. You know, I played different sports, and then, you know, if anyone on your staff talks about military hazing, okay, they're way out of bounds, because that's a whole different animal, a whole different subject. You know, we're making student athletes, we're teaching them a game how to have fun. We're not making grunts, we're not making Green Berets, right? So if it happened in the military, it should not happen in your football program. All right. But there's also cases of positive things people might construe as hazing. At the same high school I mentioned, you know, there was a tradition where coming back from practice, there was a big, mucky, nasty puddle, and they'd wait till the ice formed on it, middle of the season, and on that first icy day, they would close the doors to the locker room, and the seniors would make all the sophomores slide face first through this nasty puddle. God knows what was in it. Ice going through down your gear, face mask down your jersey. So being good sports and really having no choice, you know, we all went through the puddle. And then after we all went through the puddle, we're standing there miserable. The upperclassmen always, get out of the way, get out of the way. And they all jumped through the puddle laughing and giggling, the whole team. And it got so fun that us sophomores, we went around and we went through the puddle again. And the whole thing changed. So that, to me, was not hazing. That was a team event that created bonding. Nobody was humiliated. Nobody was hurt. We all came together. I looked up to those guys. I learned a little bit how to become a leader, to do what I'm asking my underlings to do. And it helped us in football because, you know, we were never fazed by the weather after that, because we'd already been through worse than anything the weather could give us in a traditional ref game. And hell, we thought it was fun. So, we learned too that you can make something fun if we do it together that's, might seem adversarial. So that was a positive example. On your program, you got to monitor for hazing, and it's sometimes not easy. A lot of this stuff happens without the coach's knowledges, right? And that's probably the scariest thing, because we all agree that hazing's bad, but how do you keep an eye on it? And I don't have the answers for that. I do know this year I felt better. I kind of knew we weren't having it. It's going to happen. If you have 100 players, the most likely victim is going to be number 99. If you have 19 players, the most likely victim is going to be 19, right? So you got to make sure they're not being humiliated or excluded, and they're feeling like a contributing part of the team no matter what. So midway through the season this year, one of our kids that never gets in, and he knew he never gets in. It was kind of a conversation we had weekly, the odds of him getting in, and but he always shows up, loved playing, wanted to get him in. He's up there, he's in a frantic mess, and he's, Coach, I don't think I'll be eligible this week. He's in his uniform at the field house with all his books, doing homework and assignments. And he was very concerned he wasn't going to be eligible for the game on Friday night. So the monkey brain in me says, well, dude, the pressure's off. I mean, you're not going to play anyway, so, don't worry about it. You got your time. But then the smarter than my monkey brain thought, wait a minute, this is fantastic. This kid is learning. He's taking responsibility for himself. He's becoming a man. He's working hard to achieve something, and to do it, to be available and to be there to support his kids on the sideline, his buddies on the sideline, be part of his team. And everybody has value. We were a better team with him than without him. And I was glad he did make it. He passed and he was there and he supported our team and did everything he could do to help us. And the fact that he wanted to be there and he fought to be there told me that he was enjoying a safe, positive atmosphere within the program. And he was in a place he should be. And that made me proud of our kids, because that's on our kids, because they can do things when you're not around. You can't watch them all in school all day. So, credit to our kids for that. So, I think going forward, I think as much as X's and O's, coaches need to let parents know, this is an age of declining participation in sports, and this is another thing we can do to shore up our programs by discussing this, not ignoring it, not pretending it didn't happen at this other school, and talking about it, and making sure everybody knows that they're going to be in a safe, positive atmosphere. And when those kids sign a dotted line, they come up to our field, we're going to take them in and protect them as if they're our own sons, and that we're a family, which we're supposed to be, a band of brothers and all that we talk about. Well, that stuff shouldn't happen in a band of brothers. And in most places, thank God, it doesn't. So there's my thoughts on hazing and culture building, because if you can have a positive atmosphere, you've got a huge step towards a positive culture. So it's right now it's getting to be in the clinic season, so I hope you guys are out there hitting good clinics and learning stuff that'll help you beat somebody you weren't supposed to next year. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.